to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
Huge news, Jerry. Huge news.
Huge.
Now,
not like Kenny Pickett's hands. Sorry.
Exactly. These much bigger news than that. Now, is it going to be news that everyone's excited about? No. Is it news that I'm excited about? Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of excited about it. Baker Mayfield is a Carolina Panther.
Finally, after all the leaks and stuff for
all the speculation, all the podcasts that we've done discussing should they, shouldn't they, why they should, why they shouldn't. I feel like we've flip-flopped back and forth several times as to, do we want Baker on the team or not? I feel like it's been very well, is he an upgrade? Yes. Do we really want to give up what might be needed to get him? No. But Jerry, the trade compensation looks pretty good for the Panthers.
Oh, absolutely. It's a conditional 5th-round pick. Supposedly, if he plays a lot, it'll be a 4th-round pick, which I expect
2024 as well, right?
I did not see it being a 2024. It could be. I did not see. But the big thing I saw is Baker Mayfield take a $3.5 million pay cut to come here. Browns will be paying $10.5 million of his salary, while the Panthers only have a $5 million cap hit on him. I mean, yes, this is a 1-year deal where, he's only guaranteed to be here 1 year. It's going to be a really prove-it deal for him.
So far.
I can't imagine they're going to extend him. I can't imagine. I feel like
I'd be shocked if they did, yeah.
I feel like they burnt that issue with Sam Darnold, and I don't see them doing that again right away. But I could be mistaken.
I mean, it made sense with the Sam Darnold thing in the sense that the reason they went and got him was to give him 2 years essentially to do it. And you weren't going to be able to give him that second year for anything less than that 5th-year extension. So it made sense in that, for Sam Darnold. But talking about Baker Mayfield, I mean, they give up basically nothing. I mean, a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the condition is. You said based on playing time. Is it only playing time? Is it statistics?
That's what I heard, and I don't know if it's really come out exactly what it is, but that's what I read, that it's a conditional on playing time and that it'll probably be a 4th round when all said and done, because I don't see Sam Darnold out playing Baker Mayfield in preseason.
No, the only way it would be a 5th, I would guess, would be injury.
Yeah,
so a little bit of injury protection there, which is fine. I mean, a 4th-round pick and only paying $5 million for a starting quarterback who, is not one of the top 10 starting quarterbacks in the league, probably not one of the top 20 starting quarterbacks in the league, at least based on last year's performance.
On last year's, I would say he's top 20 overall, though. I would say probably around the 17 mark or so.
Like last year, really young quarterback. Yeah, I mean, last year, and that's what a lot of people are basing it on. But if you look at the year before, it was like 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions or something. Like, he had a pretty good year, and they went 11-5, I think. Last year he was hurt for most of the year. So if he's coming back healthy and we're getting that 28 or 22-8 guy, the Panthers might have a shot at a wild card,
And that's what Matt Rule is hoping, because I think that's what's going to save his job. PFF ranked him since his rookie year. His rookie year, he was 11th out of the quarterbacks. 2019, 17th. 2020, 8th. And then last year, 29th. Obviously, and that was out of 38 quarterbacks.
Still higher than Sam Darnold every
year.
Yeah.
Well, Sam Darnold, I think, was 37 or 38. I think P.J. Walker may have been the other one. So, yeah.
Well, either way, this is a big upgrade for the Panthers at quarterback. And honestly, for me at least, it does provide some hope for this season, because I did not have any expectations of the Panthers being fun to watch this season, honestly. Now I think they're at least going to be fun to watch.
I absolutely agree. My wife Sylvia actually was the first person who let me know and stuff, and other people that started bombarding me. That was one thing I go, at least I have a little glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
Because starting Sam Darnold, I had really no hope going into this year. Like, yeah, we're going to win a few games because I think our roster is better than other teams, and that,
Yeah.
You can always
We
win.
weren't going to
a
go
few.
0-17. Yeah.
No,
But
but
it was looking like a 5-win season again to me.
exactly. And now at least you have a competent quarterback. Again, not premier quarterback, but I think he's an actual NFL starter. This team has not had a NFL caliber starter since Cam Newton's injury in 2018, I think.
Yeah, honestly, like that 2017 season was the last time that we felt good about the quarterback situation. Honestly,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean that it's just shocking. I mean, so maybe
it's shocking and it isn't, right? Like I feel like we've been expecting this to happen for months now.
oh, this trade definitely because
This particular trade, yeah.
it happened before the draft because during the draft they were talking about is now the time after the second round is Baker Mayfield going to get moved for a third round pick, and they didn't. They held on. They really wanted very little cap room hit from him.
And I just want to stress, like, this is kind of unprecedented. You know, the deal that the Panthers got here, having to only pay $5 million of this $18.5 million salary, only giving up a fifth, or you know what could be a fourth, but let's say right now a fifth round pick for a guy that's going to start 17 games for you and is a much better option than what you currently had. A guy that, as we said a couple of years ago, was considered, you know, maybe a fringe top 10 quarterback in the league. You know, at the very least a top 15 quarterback in the league, but considered by many. To get him for that type of deal just tells you how bad the Browns screwed this whole thing up.
Oh, this is 100% on the Browns.
Yeah.
The 100%. The whole, hey, we want an adult in the room. Then they went ahead and traded for Deshaun Watson, gave him that huge deal, all guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then
Deshaun Watson, the epitome of an adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a tweet. That guy.
I saw a tweet earlier this week or a meme that basically said Deshaun Watson is starting a trial for the allegations. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield started a charity event this week. Yeah. Browns got that adult.
Yep. Yeah. You know, the fact that he did agree to trim $3.5 million off his deal, to me, signals that he wanted to be here. Or at the very least, he wanted out of Cleveland so bad that he was willing to do that. But he wouldn't have done that if he knew that that was the make or break for the Panthers to get him. If he wasn't at least okay being here. You know, there were reports earlier in the offseason that he did not want to come to Carolina. I don't know how real those were. It seemed like he was pushing for Seattle. The report came out earlier today or late yesterday, I don't remember, basically saying that Seattle did not really have any interest in trading for him. I wonder if Seattle would have interest in trading for Darnold, given that Pete Carroll has the USC connection. I mean, maybe would you be opposed to the Panthers doing a similar type of deal where we would take on $10 million of Darnold's salary? Maybe Darnold slips a little bit and then they trade him for a conditional fifth. I mean, I could see the Panthers doing the exact same deal.
I would be willing to trade Sam Darnold for a Coke machine and eating $17 million of that cap.
So as long as we save some cap and get him out of here, you're happy with that.
I mean, honestly, you're going to have to do something probably better. Baker Mayfield's a proven better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Proven. So I think you're going to have to get back probably like a conditional seventh, eating, like I said, probably about $15 million of that dead cap.
I think the difference is that Sam Darnold has no leverage to get out of here, whereas Baker Mayfield, you know, he had leverage. Like he was not going to play for them. He was not going to be on that roster. He was not going to be around the team, and he, you know, could have really made life difficult for them. Sam Darnold's not going to do that. Sam Darnold's going to sit there and make his money and not cause much of a fuss. So, you know, the desperation to get rid of Sam Darnold is not there like it was for the Browns to get rid of Baker.
Yeah,
so,
and
I mean, I agree with you though. The Panthers, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say cut him because it doesn't do anything to help us, but everything but cutting him, I think it would be on the table for me.
Absolutely. And here's a good question too. There wasn't much fanfare to bring Baker Mayfield into any organization. The only rumors was Seattle,
Yeah.
and supposedly that really wasn't that big of a rumor. It was more them trying to drum up business for him.
Yeah.
But
Seemed like it. And
then,
we talked about that last week, right? We talked about, how the report came out saying that Seattle might be interested. Maybe we're on the verge of trading for him. And we both said, that feels like a smokescreen. Maybe something that Cleveland's putting out there to try to put pressure on the Panthers. Seems like that's what it was.
yeah, I agree. And I have my own feelings. I think Seattle is purposely in
Tanking.
rebuild mode and tanking for one of these top quarterbacks. And I don't blame them. I think Pete Carroll understands that wave of Russell Wilson, peaked. And once he traded him, he knew he's going to have to build it back up. And I think.
And that franchise is in a totally different position than the Panthers are.
Yep.
Right. That franchise has had a history of success over the last decade. They've won a Super Bowl. They've been in the playoffs every year. And the Panthers have not. Right. The Panthers since 2015 have kind of sucked. There was 1 year there that I think that we won 11 games. But outside of that, been bad. Yeah. So completely different situation. I would say that the only people who are going to be upset about this deal, and the only Panthers fans that will be upset about this deal, are the ones who wanted to tank this season to get one of those quarterbacks.
And I understand that, but I guess knowing the situation with Matt Rule, that was just never an option.
No. He's trying to save his job. He was not going to get a fourth year if they ended up with a top 5 pick this year. That was just not going to happen. He knows that. I think that's been pretty clear. Personally, I never want to go into a season wanting to tank. Now, if we get to week 11, week 12, and we're out of the playoffs, I want to lose every game after that. But I never want to go into a season wanting to tank. I feel like there's just too many things that could happen, and it's just not fun. It's just not fun for me to watch my team lose every week. It's
And I agree. I don't want to tank ever. And that's kind of the situation where you're sitting at. But at the same time, it's like, I'm willing to take that on the chin if it gets better in the long term. Because I felt like this team has been spinning its wheels ever since they fired Ron Rivera. They talk about a long-term rebuild. And I'm like, great, let's do it. Then they make some dumb moves to get in Teddy Bridgewater, to get in other quarterbacks in, or other big name players in, and you're like, what happened to the tank? Let's clear some cap. Let's get a high draft pick and, start fresh. Nope, they didn't want to do that. And then the next year they make the bold decision to go all in on Sam Darnold, and it didn't work. I'm trying to find what we gave up for Sam Darnold.
A second, a fourth, and a sixth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they gave up a second, fourth, and a sixth for Sam Darnold. They gave up a third and a fourth for Matt Corral. And now they're giving up a fifth and probably a fourth.
A fifth
or a fourth for Baker Mayfield. That's all in 3 years for Matt Rule of trying to find a quarterback. And that doesn't include him signing Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. I mean, the rebuild has been handled poorly, to put it kindly. And we've talked about that many times. The Teddy Bridgewater thing, made no sense at the time, still doesn't make much sense. The Teddy Bridgewater thing would make more sense now than it made sense back then, right?
Yeah.
But you could also look at it this way. The Panthers have traded a second, a fourth, a conditional fifth, and a sixth for a number 1 overall pick and a number 3 overall pick.
Yeah, and probably one of the worst quarterback classes of all time.
If you look at it that way, Fitter has done an amazing job, right? Obviously, that's not the way that you can look at it because, of the players involved. But, they took a flyer on Darnold. They thought they could fix him. They were wrong. I don't know if you would say that they're going to take a flyer on Baker Mayfield or that they're going to bring him in knowing that this is a 1-year deal. If he performs above expectations, I think it becomes very interesting. If he's a guy that has a similar season to the 2020 season, I guess. If he has a similar season to that, where he has, very high rating and nice TD to interception ratio, throws for close to 4,000 yards, and the Panthers win 10, 11 games, does he get a second contract from the Panthers?
I think there would probably be a 2-3 year deal that was more like not a prove it deal, but prove you're that direction, and then it'll be another extension. That would be my guess.
3 years, 80 million, something like that. Like not top end QB money, but
25.
They're not gonna be able to pay him 20 million a year. That's just not gonna happen for
20 million a year is cheap right now.
That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't be able to do that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you'd have to pay him.
He wouldn't take that. It would be at least 25, maybe close to 30.
I would say about 20. If he has a good
season.
Correct. Yeah. If they push the playoffs, this regime is coming back. I would say that's a situation. And let's be honest, Baker Mayfield has had good teams around him in the past, and this team has weapons for him. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey, if he stays healthy, DJ Moore, who's a number one receiver who has had no real good quarterbacks throwing to him. Yep. Terrace Marshall and Robbie Anderson have to prove it, as well as Ian Thomas and Tremble, but there are potential
Higgins,
real
who
good.
Was with Baker, right?
Yeah,
Rashard Higgins, who is familiar with Baker. It'll be interesting. I wonder if Robbie. I mean, he made it pretty clear a few weeks ago that he did not want Baker on the team. Then he sort of retracted that, in a press conference recently, where he said, "I was just trying to stand up for my current quarterback." I think he'll be fine.
Well, to be fair, Robbie also tweeted out that he didn't want to be on the Panthers anymore either, or wanting to retire. Backtrack that too. So
check out Robbie's Twitter if you haven't done it. Lots of interesting things out there.
If you can decipher what he's saying.
Right. There used to be a Robbie translator account, but Robbie blocked him. So
I know, that sucks.
He doesn't get it anymore. All right, so what type of season do you think Baker would have to get that second big contract, the Panthers?
I think he's going to have to take this team to the playoffs. Again, the playoffs are bust for this whole roster, and I think it's doable. This is a very tough schedule. But that being said, it's doable. You got Cleveland, coming here week 1. Schedule makers love
Cleveland
seeing that. Did that one. They guessed it.
Yep.
Then New York, then New Orleans, Atlanta, Arizona. First 4 games are all winnable. And I say that with thinking Cleveland is probably starting Jacoby Brissett. Just
most likely, yeah. I don't know that Deshaun, reports are now that he may not get suspended for a whole season. But he'll at least be suspended for the first 6 to 8 games, I would say. So we're going to get them at the right time.
And then you go 3 games of San Francisco, LA, Tampa Bay, and I think those are going to be pretty rough. Then you look at
San Francisco, maybe. It depends on how their QB situation shakes out.
Yeah. Then Atlanta, Cincinnati, and then Atlanta again. So Cincinnati, you never know, they could have that Super Bowl hangover. I mean, they had a great playoff run. But you never know if that's going to translate to this year. Baltimore, tough. Denver, tough. Seattle, I think they're trying to get a top QB. I don't see them pressing that hard. Pittsburgh will be interesting, depending on their quarterback situation. Detroit Lions, I have a feeling they're going to be frisky this year. Tampa Bay, and then New Orleans. So, I mean, I see a path to the playoffs. It'll be tough.
I was going to say, you just reading those teams out, it's funny how, just having an average quarterback completely kind of changes the way I think about that schedule now.
Absolutely. Before thinking Sam Darnold, I thought we were going 5 wins. At least now I have a glimmer of hope of, hey, maybe Baker can lift us past a couple of these teams, And he has that ability. He played great in their playoff win the year before. So He has the ability to. He's going to have some good weapons. He has some mobility. At least he's competent. At least he's competent.
And that's the thing is, like I said earlier, going into the season, there was really no hope. I mean, honestly, with Sam Darnold and a rookie late third round pick as your potential starting quarterbacks and PJ Walker, you're not going to win a lot of games with that. Baker has at least taken a team to the playoffs. Baker has performed well in a playoff game, a high stakes game. Baker was hurt a lot of last year, so you kind of have to take that. You have to at least have that in your mind when you're looking at his resume, right?
Do you remember what exactly it was? It was a shoulder issue?
It was a shoulder. I think it was a labrum, Yeah. Okay. Which hopefully is healed. We certainly don't want another quarterback with a shoulder problem.
I guess caveat on this is he does have to pass a physical before the trade happens. But
that's correct, yeah. A lot younger than Cam was when Cam's injury happened, a lot different type of beating on his body that Cam had. So I would not think that those two injuries are going to derail the careers in the same way that he did with Cam.
Oh, here's a nice little tweet from Ed Greenberger. For the Baker Mayfield's injury-riddled 2021 season, it was just the second half of the season that he got injured. Despite the torn labrum, through the 8 games, he completed 66% of his passes and had a 99.4 passer rating in the first half of the season before that. So that goes good.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. Like, is he Patrick Mahomes? No. Is he Tom Brady? No. But there's only a couple of those in the league at one time. Can he be a Jimmy Garoppolo and take a team to the playoffs? Yeah, why not? Can he be a Matt Ryan, type of guy to take a team to the playoffs? Yeah, I think he could. Now, Matt Ryan was an MVP. I don't know if Baker's going to be an MVP. Don't know that Matt Ryan should have been an MVP, honestly. But, he is a serviceable quarterback who may not win you games by himself, but he's not going to lose games like Sam Darnold was.
Yeah. I mean, Sam Darnold just gave away games left and right. Yeah. And I know this is kind of true, but maybe we get some State Farm commercials here, a Baker Mayfield moving to the house.
That he's going to be the new voice for Morris Jenkins. I've seen like 4 people have said that to me. I'm like, are you all shopping at the same joke store? What's going on here? But yeah, everyone says Morris Jenkins. So
what they really
Mayfield.
No, I don't think it should be Morris Jenkins. What's that? Oh God, I can't think of it. But those purchase homes direct from that real estate broker. It's always on the radio
Mark
station
or whatever.
Mark Spain. There you go. He should be Mark Spain, where he's moving and he quickly sold his house in Cleveland.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You don't want the headaches.
He'll be with McCaffrey on the CPI commercials. Yeah, he's a great commercial actor. So we're at least getting that. But I haven't seen any Sam Darnold commercials.
No, I don't want to.
Not a single one. Very interesting.
I don't think Sam Darnold's a very charismatic person, and that's kind of one of the things I'm kind of looking forward towards Baker Mayfield. Is I do see him hopefully, even though the issue with cancer locker room in Cleveland, I'm hoping he can rally this team, because this team needs a leader. That was one thing last year I kept harping on, defense and offense. It felt like there's no vocal leader stepping up.
Yeah, I haven't heard the locker room cancer thing. Is that a thing? He was a cancer in the locker room?
Well, that was kind of the whole, we want a grown up in the locker room, where then Odell didn't want to play for him. That's why he never did. He wanted out. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one good thing that's going to come from this is people can stop hoping that Cam Newton comes back and talking about it constantly. Now, that ship has sailed. Cam Newton is not going to be on this team.
No. And again, I hope he goes to a team like the Chargers or somewhere he could be a fun third down quarterback that could come in on certain situations, be the understudy, help a younger guy kind of, grow, and then maybe win a ring. I'd love to see him a ring, even though he's not. It's not going to have a Panther logo on it, but
yeah, I don't know. He said that he doesn't want to do that, but who knows? Either way, I mean, getting back to the Panthers and Baker, what would you grade the trade for the Panthers?
I mean, you have to give B plus, A minus, or A.
I think it has to be an A. I mean, you're bringing in a starting quarterback and you're giving up basically nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't see how it can be anything less than an A from the trade standpoint.
I guess you're right from a trade standpoint.
Yeah.
I still have my negativity about the way the front office has handled the quarterback position, so maybe that's why I was thinking
B plus. This trade.
I say A just because you are getting a starting caliber quarterback where I said probably 15 to 20 in the league for $5 million and a conditional 5th round pick hitting your cap.
I can't remember a trade like this, honestly. I can't remember getting a guy of this quality for that price. I don't know that it's ever happened. But obviously the circumstances were very strange. It's kind of funny. The Panthers were all in on Deshaun Watson. Don't get him. I mean, honestly, would you rather have Deshaun Watson on your team right now?
Absolutely not.
Or Baker on your team for what this took? I mean, give me Baker every day.
I mean, we're like 27 minutes in, and we're going to do a off-season recap before training camp. And one of my questions was best off-season move. And my best off-season move is losing out on Deshaun Watson. I'm not even joking. Yeah. I think that would have hampered this whole organization for years to come. And I think it's about to do that to the Cleveland Browns. That's my personal opinion.
From the Browns standpoint, and I'm excited to see like the trade grades that ESPN and other people give this, because the Browns are going to get an F. I mean, and
they had to.
It's not even close.
They got something for him.
Though. They didn't have to. They could have kept him.
But you don't want that. I would hate that. Why would you want to keep that quarterback in the locker room after you badmouthed him so bad? They
made their decision. Right? They made their decision when they traded for Deshaun. But I don't know. I feel like they could have waited. There's going to be an injury in some training camp. Something's going to happen to where they probably could have hung on to him for a little while longer and gotten a better return. But it worked out for the Panthers because I really like it. Again, if you're looking at it in a vacuum, take the Sam Darnold thing out of it. The previous trades, all the quarterback maneuvering that we've had to do. Just getting him for that deal, it's an upgrade. There is hope now in Carolina for the 2022 season. Win.
Yeah, and I get to see Matt Corral sit for a year before he has to play. And I think Baker Mayfield is a lot similar style quarterback to a sense of, he plays from the pocket, but he can also run and get down because Baker's not a huge guy. So hopefully it'll help him too.
I would rather have Corral watching Baker than watching Sam. That's for sure.
That's exactly it.
That's for sure. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, a hugely upgraded offensive line. We still have the weapons. CMC coming back. Like, this offense is ready for somebody to come step in and light it up. And I would trust Baker to have the opportunity to do that over Sam every single day.
Yep.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Yeah. We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on our show.
We'll be back next week. We were going to do a podcast today and something completely different. Obviously, this took precedent over that. So we may do that next week. And then a week after that, we're going to be looking at our off-season review and, training camp preview and all that stuff. So some more content coming for you guys. We're excited. The season's getting closer. We're already in July. This is the last month without any football games. I know next month is just preseason, but there's still games, and I'm looking forward to it. So until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.